All right, let's go ahead and get started. Hey, everybody, my name is Mike Baccia. I'm the president and founder of iDecide Interactive, and I'm excited to do this training with you guys today. We at iDecide are really excited about our relationship with you guys in Bemer for a lot of different reasons, but primarily because I know what it can do for you. I've seen it myself. Just to share a quick personal story before we get into the training today. But my dad came to visit. My dad is in his 80s, and he came to visit me. I live out in California. He lives in Florida. He came to visit, and when he did, he said, "You know, I'm not really sure what it is that you do. What is iDecide Interactive?" And I said, "Well, the best way for you to understand it is to just see it." So I sat him down at a table, put a laptop in front of him, and I started the Bemer presentation for him. And I said, "Just watch it and just follow the instructions." So he did. He sat down, he starts clicking on the questions and doing what you do when you watch an iDecide presentation. And long story short, he is now a Bemer customer. So he sat through the iDecide, and I had told him, I said, don't really have to pay attention too much to the content, but just look at what the presentation is, what the software is, to give you an understanding of what I do. And apparently he paid attention to the content, and he went ahead and bought a Bemer. So I know it works firsthand. I know the iDecide presentation for Bemer works. And I've gotten feedback, we've gotten feedback from you guys already that have been using it to the same effect. So you're seeing success, bringing on new distributors, selling more Bemers, which is fantastic, and helping people improve their health through Bemer. So it's fantastic. I also know through some of the emails that we've gotten that some of you guys are frustrated, right? Because as with any new technology, it's hard to get a grasp of it in the beginning for some people. Some of us are more technological savvy than others. I understand that. But I also understand that once you do get the hang of it, you're going to love it. And I know that from hundreds and thousands of iDecide customers already who were in the same situation. They start off saying, man, it's really hard to understand. By the time they get a grasp of it, they think, man, I don't understand what was so hard in the beginning. This is so easy. So we want to help you get through that learning curve a little bit. So we're recording this webinar to kind of walk you through the steps. I want to go through a couple of things explaining what iDecide is, because we've also gotten some feedback from you guys to the effect of, I'm not even really sure what iDecide is. I just bought it because of the special, or my upline told me to buy it. So I'm not really sure what it is. So what I want to do today is give you kind of just a short, quick overview of what iDecide is. And then we'll walk you through some FAQs to kind of help you. And then I'll actually show you firsthand how to log in and how to get started. And you'll see for yourself how simple it is. All right, so just to give you a quick background of why iDecide is so successful, and this is the statistic, is 91% of people admit to daydreaming during presentations. So 91% of them admit to it, which means it's probably closer to 100%, right? And some of you guys during this presentation right now are starting to daydream already, or you're starting to check your phone or your email, because that's human nature. And the attention span is shrinking for human beings, especially online. Online, our attention span is 8 seconds. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous. That's how short of an attention span we have. With a video, you've got 90 seconds before you start to lose people. And even in person, if you're doing a live presentation in person, you've got 5 minutes. And these are all statistics that have been proven. So you've got a very short amount of time to keep somebody's attention. And that's why iDecide is so effective, because it does just that. So when we created it, we said, well, what if they were fun? What if presentations were actually fun, so the person watching them actually enjoyed them? What if they were professional and effective? And what if they were short, right? Because sometimes when we believe in a product, we tend to, I don't want to say oversell it, but you tend to share your enthusiasm too much and too long. So we try and make iDecide presentations short. They're smart. They provide you the data you need. And what if this is important, what if presentations were duplicatable, so they became a great recruiting tool? Because let's face it, some of you guys listening to this call right now are fantastic public speakers, and you don't have a problem sharing the Bemer story. And you don't have a problem even getting in front of a room of people and sharing your story and being dynamic and attention grabbing. But others, I know for some people, of public speaking scares the heck out of them. and they just are not good at it. And by the time you do get good at it, you may have burned through a whole bunch of prospects who may have been potential customers or distributors. So we want to make it so simple that someone says, man, they watch an iDecide presentation, they look at it, they say, man, that was amazing, it was fun. But most importantly, we want them to say, well, I can do that. I can send a presentation to somebody. So it's a fantastic recruiting tool as well, because instead of someone being, so impressed that they are intimidated by your presentation skills, now people can say, I can do that. And that's exactly what we want. We want that to be duplicatable. So that's what we created with iDecide Interactive. It's a personalized, short, fully automated, multimedia, interactive presentation. What the heck does that mean? Well, it's personalized, meaning that it will have the viewer's name in the presentation. Now, that alone has been proven to increase engagement threefold. So as soon as they click on that link and they see their name in the presentation, they immediately think, wow, I've never seen this before. What is this? And we've got their attention. We keep it short, so it's to the point. It's fully automated, so you don't have to be on the call with them. You click, you send them a presentation link, it does the work for you. A voiceover takes over, and the presentation is automatically being given. Multimedia, so it's got videos in it, it's got animations, interactions, but that's the main thing. It's interactive. So remember that statistic: you've got 8 seconds before you start to lose their attention span. With iDecide, we're always maintaining that attention because they're always clicking on their screen. They're engaged in the presentation. They're not a passive viewer, a bystander, watching. They're engaged in the presentation and having fun doing it. So that's what iDecide Interactive is. And you can create an iDecide presentation and send it through text, email, Facebook Messenger. So when if you communicate with your friend overseas through Facebook Messenger, any way you would send a message, you can send an iDecide presentation. When they click on the link that you create for them, their screen comes to life with graphics and animations and videos and so forth, and the presentation starts. They answer questions and they choose to see what they're interested in seeing. That is key, because for some people, they may be interested in one aspect of their health that they're trying to improve. So let them click on that. They get to see what they're interested in seeing, and that makes the presentation shorter and it makes it more effective. When they start to watch it, you get a notification, and I'll walk you through this when we go onto the website. You're going to receive either text or email notifications when they start to watch, and with the outcome that they choose at the end. So if they click at the end that they'd like more information on becoming a distributor, you'll get a text. You'll get one when they start to watch it. You'll get another one at the end letting you know they finished and this is what they chose. You'll also see that next to their name in their contact list, in your contact list, you'll see the status bar. It'll tell you when you sent it, if they started to watch it, what their choice was at the end. So you're always up to date on what's happening and who's seeing your presentations. No need to call them, hey, did you watch that link that I sent you? You'll know if they watched it because it'll be on your dashboard and you'll get the notifications. One thing we want to clarify before we move on, iDecide is not a video. So, and this is important, the videos can't do nearly what iDecides can do. So this is more of a customer service housekeeping type of thing. We don't want you to refer to iDecide as a video because it confuses everything. It also diminishes the value of iDecide. So if you call someone and say, hey, I'm going to send you a quick video to watch, and you're really speaking about an iDecide, you're so undervaluing, diminishing the value of iDecide, because what's the first thing that's going to go through their mind? Oh gosh, not another video. If I see one more of these things that people are sending me. So it's not a video, and we don't want you to refer to one as, you're really selling yourself short, selling the technology short. It has videos in them, in iDecides, which is also a customer service nightmare, right? Because sometimes we have people calling or emailing customer service and saying, the video, I'm having trouble with the video. And our customer service people think, well, they're talking about one of the videos in the iDecide. So it confuses everything. So refer to as an interactive presentation. So if you call someone and say, hey, I created an interactive presentation I want you to watch, you're going to love it. It's only a few minutes and you get to click through questions and answers and you'll have a blast with it. I'm going to send it over to you right now. Call me when you're done. So that's a heck of a lot different than I'm going to send you a video for you to watch. They immediately think, oh, boring. So yeah, just some quick tip. I want you to have confidence in iDecide because it works. We've gotten emails from you guys already. Somebody said, you know, people are buying Bemers and you say, I didn't even do anything. All I did was send them a link and they're ready to buy. We've had, this is some of the responses we got from customers, 70, 80% close rates within the first 45 days. By the way, if these close rates are not where they need to be with you guys right now, Bemer Corporate will have all the data from all these presentations. So they'll know what the close rates were, meaning they'll have all the data supplied by us. So they'll know this is how many people totally have started to watch the presentations. This is how many people watched each portion of the presentation. This is what the results were at the end. That's valuable data for Bemer Corporate because they'll use that to constantly improve the presentation. So this thing will continue to evolve, continue to get better. I know we're working on a Canadian version right now. Different languages may come in the future. So it will be a never-ending improvement process, and those close rates will get better as we go. This is a company that started with us not too long ago. They were recruiting about 500 people a month in the entire company before iDecide. Within the first 2 weeks after launching iDecide, that recruiting number quadrupled within 2 weeks. Another one of our customers said they have 90% close rates when they set it up correctly with prospects. Setting it up correctly with prospects means exactly what I just said. You know, either giving them a quick call or sending them a quick text saying, hey, I'm going to send you this quick presentation. You're going to love it. Take a look at it. Call me when you're done. Why? That piques the curiosity, right? It will not work if you just blast this out to people. And we do not allow spamming, so please don't do that. And if you just send somebody a link with no message and don't personalize it at all, first of all, they're probably not even going to open it, right? Because people are suspicious of links, you know, clicking on things and getting a virus. But if you send them a message and say, hey, you're going to love this. I created it just for you. It's only a few minutes. Give me a call when you're done. They're going to click on it. And the first thing, what do they see? Their name in it. And we've got their attention. This is a comment from one of our customers. They've been in network marketing for 25 years, never seen as much excitement as energy as they have with the launch of iDecide. I tell you these things again, not to impress you, but to impress upon you that iDecide works and you should have confidence in it. And if you're scared of technology, it's worth the time to learn it because you'll see how simple it is when it's done and how worth it is to get through that short learning curve. All right. I'm going to go ahead. We'll go through some FAQs real quick at the end, but I think I'll cover them all in the actual demo because I want to make sure you see the actual demo here. So I'm going to close this real quick, and I'm actually going to go right to our website so you can see exactly how to log in and how to use this thing. Okay. First thing you're going to do is go to iDecideInteractive.com. That's iDecideInteractive.com. That's our website, and you're going to click on the login button right here in the top right corner. So that will take you to the login screen. You can also just go directly to login.iDecideInteractive.com. It'll take you to the same place. Totally up to you. Some of you guys want to bookmark it in your phone. That's okay too. Feel free to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. I created a dummy account here so we can use it and see exactly what you guys will see when you log in for the first time. So I created a guy named Joe, and I gave him a dummy email address of joe@bemermail.com. Okay, so this is the login page. If you enter your information and it's not recognized, you can click the forgot password link right here, and it'll send you a password reset email. if you don't get that email, please check your spam folder. So this is one of the items that we're getting a lot from customer service emails from you guys. I can't log in. Two things have been happening. First, we're finding that people are trying to log in with the wrong email address. So I know everyone has multiple email addresses nowadays. So they may be trying to log in with their Gmail address, for example, when you signed up with your iDecide for your iDecide account with your Bemer mail address. So if you can't log in, number one, try a different email address that you may have used. We're seeing a lot of that lately. And if you are 100% confident you have the right email address and you just can't remember the password, click the forgot password. It'll send you an email to reset it. If you don't get the email, check your spam folder, because the email is coming from us, which is a company, and sometimes your security settings are set so that it will go to your spam folder. So just a quick housekeeping thing there. If you can't log in, double check the email address. And if you still can't log in, click forgot password. You can also click on the tutorials link right here to watch the tutorials. You guys, I review personally every single customer service email that comes in, because I want to see how we're answering them and make sure we're answering them within 24 hours. That's our goal. And I'm going to tell you with 100% certainty, 98% of the customer support questions that come in are answered in the tutorial videos. 98%, that is not an exaggeration. And so, and they're short. I mean, you could watch the entire video in just a few minutes, the tutorial video. So please, please invest in that few minutes, invest that couple of minutes of your time so that you can learn how to use the system correctly. If it's going too fast for you, you can click on it and pause it, take notes, whatever you need to do. But I'm telling you, most of your challenges and frustrations can be avoided by watching that tutorial video. All right, so I enter my email address, my password, and I simply log in. We've recently changed this to try and encourage you even more to watch the tutorial video. So now you'll see, as soon as you log in for the first time, it's going to ask you to please take a look at this short tutorial video before you get started. And you can click on it right here and the thing will start right there for you. And when it's done, it'll disappear and you'll be at your home page right here. So this is where you'll start. This is where everything begins with iDecide. First thing you're going to do, again, you can, and by the way, just to give you an idea of what this whole back office here, there's the tutorials again for you. We want to make them really easy for you to see. So there's your tutorials. We'll go through each of these individually, but also a lot of questions can be answered here in the FAQs. So if you just click on that, there are some of the most common questions that can be answered right here for you. So whenever you click on one of those tiles, you'll see the other tiles are smaller and they are right up here in the top right. So you can jump around from tile to tile. So we're going to start off in the contacts link, and you'll see the first thing it asks you is to enter an iDecide ID. That is by far the biggest question that we're getting from you guys through our customer service. What is my iDecide ID? The iDecide ID is not your ID. The iDecide ID is the ID of a presentation that you want to use. So every one of our presentations is assigned an iDecide ID. So your iDecide ID, and it's right on the Bemer Edge page, but in case you missed it, it's BEM 101. BEM 101. That is by far the biggest question we're getting, is what is my iDecide ID? And I never entered the iDecide ID, so now I don't have any presentations in my back office. So if I don't enter this, I'm going to show you something that happens real quick, because some people are skipping this step and they're going right to the names list and adding a name. So let's cover how to add a contact, and then I'll show you why the iDecide ID is so important. Okay, so I want to send a presentation to Jim Smith. So I enter Jim's first and last name here. You see the asterisk indicates that this is the only required field. So you're not required to enter all the other information. You can if you'd like, but you don't have to. So you can enter jim@gmail.com and or whatever Jim Smith's name is. You can enter his phone number if you like. You can enter his city. You can enter the notes. Met him at the grocery store, just so you remember who Jim is. So whatever you want to do here, this is for your own records. So I enter his name, his email address, and a couple of notes, and then I save it. And now, boom, there's Jim right in the contact list, right? So this is my contact list now. So you'll see here the status to the right shows that I've never sent him a presentation yet. That status will change after I send him one. Another thing, since we're here, this little icon right here is where you would update the contact or delete the contact, right? So let's say I realize, you know what, I entered Jim's email address wrong. I would click that little icon and I can go change it now. I can also delete that contact here. We've gotten a lot of questions about that. Can I delete, how do I edit or delete a contact? It's right there. Now, depending on the view of your computer or your device, you might have to scroll down a little bit to see the delete button, but it's right there. And when you're done, you simply save it and it's updated, okay? So now I want to send Jim a presentation. I just click on his name and it says send an iDecide. His name is already in there, his email address is in there, but look what it says, no presentations for this account because I did not add the iDecide ID, so I have no presentations to send. So I'm going to cancel this. And see right here, it's asking for the iDecide ID. So I can click on it and enter it. I can also go into the account here in the top right. And I can scroll down and add a presentation here as well. By the way, there's your log out button too. We've got a lot of people asking, where do I log out? Most people don't even bother logging out of their iDecide account. But if you'd like to, you just go into the account button and then click log out. You can also update your information in this My Account section. So if you want to, maybe you signed up with your Bemer mail address, but you'd rather use your Gmail account. You can change it here. Or maybe you haven't added your mobile phone yet and you decide, you know what, I want to get updates through text. So you can add your mobile number there. And save it. And there we go. Your changes have been saved. And now where do I want to go from here? Well, I want to go back to the contacts. Okay, now I'm going to enter the iDecide ID, which remember is BEM 101 for you guys, for Bemer. Click next. And we found and added your new presentation to your account. Bemer, you may now use these presentations. You have to do that once. You don't have to do that every time you want to send a presentation. You do it one time and it's in your account. So now I go to send Jim a presentation. Remember, I just click on his name and I just follow the steps. Now the presentation is here, Bemer. By the way, later on, you'll have more presentations in here. You see this drop-down menu here. Eventually, you'll have Bemer Canada, or maybe you'll have Bemer Spanish or Bemer French. So you'll click the drop-down menu and the whole list will appear and you'll just choose the one that you want to send Jim. Then you're going to choose, do I want to copy the link into a text or email or have the system email the link for me? Very, very important. The system will send the email to Jim for you if you choose email the link for me. But we highly, highly, highly recommend you copy the link into your own text or email. Why? Because again, if it comes through our system, it has a very high likelihood of going to spam or not getting delivered at all, just based on everyone's crazy security settings these days. Maybe you have their work email address and their work email address won't let any emails in from an outside company. or their security settings are so high that even their Gmail account won't let them in. Whatever the case may be, we just really suggest you send it to yourself. So I'm going to walk you through, you send it yourself to Jim. I'll show you what I mean. So a unique link address will be generated when you click next. You'll be able to send this address via email or text by copying it. So all I did so far, really, remember, was just click on Jim's name. Just again, to show you how simple it is. Boom, there's Jim's name. And I'll copy the link into a text, click next. It's creating that unique link for Jim. Now it's going to say, so remember, I am going to send it myself. So do I want to copy a full message to send Jim in my own email or text? Or do I just want to copy the link, just the address? Totally up to you. So I'm going to choose just the address. And by the way, you can change this message here if you so choose, customize the message. You can change it. I had this, maybe you don't want to call it an interactive animation, maybe you want to say presentation. You can change it and then copy the whole message. It'll have this short message in there and the link address in there. And you can choose to copy that, or you can just copy the website address. So now you'll scroll down. I'm going to copy just the website. You see it says copied. And then it says, how would you like to be notified when the presentation is viewed? You can choose email or text. Now remember, if you choose email and you don't get them, check your spam folder, because you may have to go to your spam folder, see our email in there, and then make sure you click on that email and click not spam, so your system doesn't send them to spam in the future also. So you choose email notifications and close. That's it. So literally 3 steps to send Jim a presentation. So I click on his name. I'm going to copy the link myself. Next. It creates the link. I copy the link to a clipboard. I choose email updates, and I'm done. Literally, that was it. 3 steps, 3 clicks to send a presentation. Now, it's going to say sent at 12:51 because it assumes that you're going to send it, right? So I just did this. It's 12:51 p.m. So it's going to assume that you're going to send it right now before you do another one, right? So you'll see that and by the way, we've gotten this also, people are saying, well, how do I copy it where's the clipboard? The clipboard is virtual. There is no clipboard. It saves it internally into your device or your computer. So if you right click anywhere and click paste, there's the link. So I could easily open my email browser right now, my email program, Gmail account, type Jim an email, right click in the email and send him a presentation, and I'm done. This is also a great way for you guys to see the presentation yourself. Just right click, paste it right into the browser, and boom, and you'll be able to see for yourself what the presentation is, which is smart, right? You want to see what you're sending people. Now, presentations that we show through a Zoom are always moving slower because the Zoom bandwidth is taking up a lot of the bandwidth. So when Jim opens this, it will be faster naturally, and it'll play like it should. Back to the iDecide. So, oh, by the way, you know what? Let me go back and do that again. So I'm going to show you real quick how the system updates. It's like waiting for this to happen while the Zoom is sucking up the bandwidth. Again, this happens a lot quicker in real life. I just want to go ahead and click the start button once it appears. And when you guys paste it and watch it yourself, of course, it'll be happening a lot quicker because you won't be on a Zoom call. Boom, click get started. You see it has all your information in it, by the way. That's your information.
For taking a few minutes to watch this short presentation. It's going to be interactive.
All right, I'll close that. Now you'll notice when I refresh my browser here, and I go to my contacts, you'll see that this was changed Jim Smith started watching at 12:53 p.m. And if I checked Joe's email, which was a dummy email address, so I can't show you what that email looks like, but I guarantee you there's a notification in there to Joe saying, Jim just started watching your presentation. Okay? And so I can continue this process very simply. So I want to send one to Sue Jones. Save it. She's in my list. Click Sue. I'll copy it myself. Next. It's creating the custom link with Sue's name in it. I choose email updates, copy it to clipboard, and I'm done. So you see how fast this can go and how effective it can be. And again, it's updated, tells me to send it. I can also choose how I want to order these contacts. So if I've got 10, 20, 30 contacts in there, I can choose right here and say, do I want to list them by my newest contacts or by the latest activity? So I say, okay, we'll see it by Sue Jones, or I can switch it, because if you've got 20, 30 people, maybe you want to say, not who you entered recently, but what the most recent activity is. Who's been watching it? What are the results? So you get to choose that here. Once you've got a lot of them there, you can also search for that contact. So you can say, hey, you know what? Where's Jim Smith? Instead of scrolling through all these, I can search for Jim Smith, and boom, it'll show up. There he is. So a bunch of different ways. If you'd like to import a bunch of contacts, you can do that here too. I won't get too technical, but it's very simple. You can import or export through a CSV file. So you can do that here, and then all the contacts will appear. I'm going to tell you, please don't upload 5,000 contacts or it will slow your site down tremendously. This is not meant to be a CRM or a database. This is meant to put a handful of contacts in there that you can effectively follow up with. So there's no point in loading 5,000 contacts. Load maybe 50, and that'll keep you busy for a week or so. And then you can delete them, right? Keep in mind, when you delete a contact, it also deletes their presentation. So if they go to click on that presentation later on after you've deleted them, the presentation link will be dead. So keep that in mind also. So everything again is up here. You see analytics is just grayed out because that is coming soon. We hope to have that available to you in the first quarter of next year, but we wanted to kind of tease you with it and let you know it's coming soon. You can go to your account section. We talked about that. You can look at the FAQs from here. Tutorials, you can go here and watch the tutorial again. We're also breaking up the main tutorial into shorter ones. So now if you don't have to sit through the whole presentation, the whole tutorial, you just want to learn how to send a presentation, review that section, there you go, there's a shorter one. You want to learn how to post a link, you can do it there. So how to how to go about getting the notifications. So there are shorter ones, and then there's the main one. Post a link is you can post a link on social media. Bemer would rather you not do that, so we're not going to go into that. They want to keep it a one-to-one presentation tool, which is very smart. So please disregard the post a link and focus more on the individual presentations that you're going to send people. I'm going to cover just a couple of the FAQs real quick before we wrap it up. And these are some of the, I think I covered them already, but sometimes it helps to have them in visual format right in front of you. Again, please watch the tutorials. 98% of the questions you have are answered in those tutorials and can save you a lot of time and frustration. What is Bemer's iDecide ID? Remember, it's Beam 101, B-E-M 101. It's not Bemer 101, it's B-E-M 101. That's the iDecide ID. Please let your people know that people on your team that you're suggesting sign up. We have it, I think it's on thebemeredge.com 6 different times, but it's people still ask, what is the ID? It's Beam 101. I'm not receiving the notifications. That comes up a lot. Please check your spam folder. Make sure your email and phone number are entered correctly in the account section. And again, they are sent when someone starts to watch them and if they choose something at the end. Okay, important. So at the end of the presentation, they see different options there. It says, I want to learn more about a Bemer. I want to become a distributor, whatever their options are at the end. If they choose any of those, you'll get notified. If they don't, and they simply close the presentation, there is no notification. So you'll get one that they started and you won't get one that they finished. And some people will say, well, that stinks. I want to know what happened. Well, no, it doesn't stink. It means that's your signal, your cue to follow up with them, right? Because this is still a one-to-one business. It will never replace the one-to-one aspect. It's still high touch, even though we're adding high tech. Okay, please understand that. This is not a replacement of everything you guys have already been doing. This is an enhancement of what you've been doing. So if you get a notification that Mike started to watch it, and then a half hour later you realize, you know what, I never got another notification, give Mike a call and say, hey, Mike, I noticed you started to watch the presentation, but you didn't finish. Just want to see what you thought. How'd you like it? And he's like, oh man, the doorbell rang and the dog went crazy. And thanks for the reminder. I got to go back and watch it again. Cool. No problem. So it is a reminder to watch it, to follow up. If they answer they're not interested at the end, you'll get a notification of that as well. And some people say, oh, that stinks. It didn't work. It did work. The purpose of iDecide is to filter out those who are interested from those who are not. So if you get a notification, Mike watched the presentation, he's not interested. Fantastic. You move on to the next person, right? And you know, maybe you follow up with Mike somewhere down the line. But it just saved you so much time, effort, and maybe even money by chasing Mike, you know, and trying to get him to sit down with you, or driving to his house, or meeting him in a coffee shop to do a presentation, or constantly following up with him. If he's not interested, that's okay. That was still a win. The presentation did the job, and it saved you time, effort, and money, and let you know, okay, he's not interested right now. He may be down the road, but now he's not interested. So that's okay. Couple more. FAQs, we covered this. I can't log in. Are you using the same email that you signed up with? Check your other emails. We've got so many these days, some people, you can't remember which one you signed up with. Try a different one. And if you're 100% sure, click on the reset password link and then check your spam folder if you don't get that reset email within just a few minutes. Prospects aren't getting my presentations. We talked about this. Send them through your own email or text to ensure they go through. I can't stress that enough. You know, if you send it and you don't get a notification, send it through our system and you don't get a notification that they started, I would highly recommend you send it again through your own system, whether email or text, so that you know that they're getting them and they're not going to spam. Presentation isn't in my account or there's nothing to send. We talked about this, remember? You probably don't have the presentation loaded into your account. You never entered the iDecide ID. Click on Account at the top of your screen, click Add Presentations, enter BEM 101. And that will add the presentation, and eventually it'll add all the presentations. So when we add the Canada and other languages, you won't have to add additional IDs. They'll all be included in the BEM 101. And finally, if you do have questions, our email address is hi@iDecideInteractive.com. Please make note of that. We had one person, I've sent 4 emails to support and never got a response. What email address? And you know, she was replying to the, she finally used the support button in the back office. I sent 4 emails. What email did you send? info@idecide.com. That's not our email address. So please, hi@iDecideInteractive.com. And our response time is, we say within 24 hours. Typically it's far less. Typically it's within just a few hours. But again, don't forget, 98% of the questions can be answered immediately by watching the tutorial, and saving you a lot of time and frustration. You guys, again, I'm so excited. We as a team are so excited about this partnership with Bemer and this relationship that we have with you guys. And we're here for you. If you need more training, maybe if you have a group training, we can provide, this will pretty much cover it all. This would be the same thing we cover on a group call with you guys, but we're here for you. We do respond to the emails, the customer support emails, like I said, within 24 hours. Please take the time to learn the system. You'll see how simple it is once you get in there and play with it. Don't get frustrated. Just, do the best you can. It'll get easier with time, and you'll see the results that you guys, some distributors are seeing already. And the presentations will continue to improve. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And we're here for you, and we're happy to be in business with you. Thanks so much.